What up? It's the PAC man, all things physician assistant. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about hourly versus salary. And I also want to talk about W-2 versus 1099 independent contractor. It comes down to the type of clinical setting that you're in. When I was in ENT, I was salary and I loved it because I never did 40 hours. Right, so the busiest work week I would have was like 35 hours. So to get paid for 40 was like a bonus for me. Now that I'm in full time, I'm in a walk-in clinic. That's it's in like an underserved community. So some people in the neighborhood treat it like an urgent care, and some people just come in and treat it like their primary care. So it's a little bit of everything. Half the clinic is pediatric, the other half is adult. So again, it's a little bit of everything. In this setting, it's best to do hourly because I don't work every day. So if I decide to come in an extra day to help out, then I want to get compensated for that. So hourly just works better here. And let's say, for instance, surgery, you always know what time you start, you never know what time you finish. That's like the saying for surgery. And I was a surgical tech for 10 years. But that's not the type of place you want to do salary, because if you end up doing 13, 14 hour day, let's say a busy day, not every day, whatever, but you only getting paid 40 hours a week and you're pushing out 60 hours a week, that's not really feasible. The opposite of that, if you're working in a facility that you may not be needed for the full 40, but they're willing to pay you 40, I'll take it. And those are two extremes, right? The one that requires you to work more hours than needed, and the other one that requires to work less hours than needed. But let's say the average work job, if they say, hey, we're here Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and we want to pay you salary for that, that's fine. It's nice because, if you take a day off for whatever reason, you're still going to get paid. But here's an example of a bad situation. I have a friend who works at an urgent care, salary, but he does shift work. That doesn't make sense because shift work, he does 12s. So if you do 12-hour shifts and you only work, let's say 3 12s or 4 12s a week, and you're on salary, what happens if you want to pick up an extra shift? You're not going to get compensated for it. In fact, right now he's only supposed to work like 7 shifts per pay period, but right now he's pulling like 10 shifts. He just started here, so he hadn't even received his first paycheck. So I'm like, how are you going to get compensated for that? And he's not sure yet. Like, he's just kind of waiting to see his first paycheck to determine how the dust settled. I'm like, I don't like that. Sounds real dusty. But that's a scenario where if you're working shift work, like you're in an ER, an ICU, an urgent care, and you're doing 12s, you need to get paid hourly because you only work 3 12s a week. You want to be able to come in and make some extra money when you need it, and you just don't want to have that conversation with whoever's signing your checks. Like, it should just be hourly. Pay me for the time that I was here. So that's a scenario where you don't want to be in a salary base. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, what about this W-2 versus 1099 independent contractor? So first, definition wise, W-2 means you have an employer and the employer is paying you bi-weekly, let's say. They could be paying you monthly, they could be paying you weekly, but they're paying you, right? They cut you a paycheck. By having a W-2 employee, by being a W-2 employee, some of the benefits are that your employer pays half of your Social Security taxes for you, right? So if you're responsible for 15% tax, which you are, your employer will pay 7.5% for you, and then you will pay the other 7.5%. Now keep in mind, the employer is just not going to take a loss. if they were able to pay you, let's say, $60 an hour, no benefits, they're only going to pay you $50 an hour with benefits, because that additional $10 they're going to use for the benefits that they're offering you, including paying your Social Security taxes, right? So if there's a 401k and we're matching, the match is coming out of what I'm not paying you hourly, right? They're not just going to take a loss, so keep that in mind. So that's one of the benefits, is you're not responsible for paying all the taxes on your own. Additional pros, they've made a commitment to pay you bi-weekly. You've made a commitment to work X amount of hours, and you can depend on that paycheck being there on Friday, let's say, for instance. The cons of working for as a W-2 employee is that you get taxed hard. Like you get taxed hard, especially as a PA making, let's say, 6 figures. You get taxed hard. Really no way around it, because the money gets taken out of your check before it ever hits your account, so you can't control it. An independent contractor, some of the pros is you can ask for more money hourly. It's very rare to find like a salary-based independent contractor, but as an independent contractor, you can ask for more money because you're not taking any of their benefits at all. You don't want their health insurance, you don't want their 401k, you don't want them to help you pay for taxes, you don't want anything, you just want the money. You'll deal with it on your own. So the major pro is that you definitely have the option of making more money. You also have the benefit of deciding how you want to delegate your taxes, and that's something between you and your accountant. I won't incriminate myself in this video, but you have a lot more wiggle room to determine how much taxes you want to pay within the confines of the law, right? So you're not breaking laws, you're claiming different things, right? Which are true. Driving to work costs gas money, car maintenance, car payments, car insurance, and all of that stuff. The stethoscope's not free, this jacket's not free, these scrubs aren't free, and nobody's helping me pay for taxes, so I need to be able to write off a percentage of everything I'm wearing, everything I'm doing, everything I'm eating, everywhere I'm going. So that's a major plus, is you control how much taxes you pay. Unfortunately, you're responsible for 100% of the taxes, though, right? So 15% Social Security taxes is your responsibility. Another 15%, let's say, of federal taxes is also your responsibility. Income taxes is your responsibility. Depending on which state you live, if you have state taxes, that's your responsibility. So you're getting taxed more, but you have more tax breaks. So unless you have a really good accountant, you're gonna end up, it could be a lose-lose situation. You really have to be intentional with your taxes. So additional pros of working as an independent contractor is I don't owe anybody anything. So let's say, for instance, the clinic that I'm at right now, I'm a contractor here. So if I can't come in tomorrow, I can't come in tomorrow. That's, I'm not a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 guy. I have kind of like a pretty fixed commitment where I tell them, hey, I'm available these days, let me know if you need me. And they're like, hey, we'll keep you those days permanently if that's okay with you. And I say yes. If my schedule is ever to change, then I let them know, hey, I'm no longer available on this day. And there's no contract or anything that binds me to that. That's just that's the agreement that we have as an independent contractor. I don't owe them anything. Some of the cons of being a independent contractor is you can't depend on your paycheck. If, let's say, tomorrow COVID happens and they cut, let's say, half the patients stop showing up here, that means half the providers are not needed. They're not gonna let go of their full-time employees. They're gonna let go of the independent contractors, right? Especially that they're paying them more. So they don't owe me anything. I don't owe them anything. They don't owe me anything. So if tomorrow they want to save a little bit of money, they could just tell me, hey, don't show up this week, or don't show up ever. So that could be detrimental. Additionally, cons is, let's say you took 2 weeks vacation. You come back and you got $0 deposited into your account because you didn't work. Like, you don't get no PTO, there's no benefits, right? So you have to kind of factor that in. Factor the fact that you're paying for your own taxes. Factor the fact that you're never getting any days off without and being compensated for it, right? So you got to kind of think about those things. But those are just really my thoughts on the two. No one is better than the other. I've worked both. Both of them have their benefits. Both of them have their downs, pros and cons to both. A additional note that wasn't part of this video, but I decided I'm just gonna throw it in now. Actually, I'm gonna save it for another video. It's a very important video, but I don't want this video to be too long. But it's gonna be on creating your own LLC and then filing your taxes in something we call S corporation. So that's a very important, I don't think that's taught anywhere outside of like a finance degree or an accounting degree, but it's so important. And I think that deserves its own video. So stay tuned for that one. All right. Hope this video reaches you guys as usual, and I love you guys. Stay safe out there.